All right. Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining us for our week 3 team huddle. Actually, it's week 4, I think. We're actually entering the 4th week of the challenge. It's September 28th. So that means we are at the halfway mark. And I'm hoping that you guys are on track, whether your goal was weight loss or maintenance. Hopefully, you're on track, kind of keeping tabs on where you are. If you need any help, reach out to me or reach out if you have a health coach on the team, reach out to them. That's why we're here. Our goal is your success. And if you're struggling, use us as health coaches and your challengers as your support system. That's why this works so well. And that's why we do these team huddles, is that there's so much that goes into our health. It's not just about deciding I'm going to go on a health plan or deciding I'm going to eat better or deciding I'm going to start exercising and like magic, it happens. It's really about creating new habits, making the choice, making choices beyond that initial decision to get healthy. And that gets tough. And the longer we go on our journey, the more tired we get sometimes. And so I'm hoping that you're finding this of value. And somebody that I have worked with for a little over a year, or about almost, I guess, a year and a half now, Susan Giesland, is a health coach on my team, but she also started as a client. So she has walked the journey with weight loss and also, now running her own business as a health coach. So before she even gets into our topic, which is going to be about the power of choice, really a follow-up to last week's Zoom call, Susan, why don't you just tell us a little bit about your history, how you and I met, and your story about, how you got going with Take Shape for Life.
Well, I'd love to. Thank you for asking me to be on the call. My history is I am a fitness instructor, like Dee is, and at one time we were teaching at the same location. And my backstory is I am actually a retired attorney. So when I moved to Georgia from Ohio, I made the choice to retire and be a stay-at-home mom with my kids because I could do that. But as my kids were getting older and one was in college, one was going into college, I thought, I need to do something else. Do I want to go back and practice law, which in my particular case was domestic, which means divorce. It wasn't a very positive place, but it was very, at least mentally challenging. Or do I want to do something else? And ironically enough, Dee approached me and said, what else do you do besides, teach jazzercise? And I said, well, I'm looking. And she says, well, I'm a health coach. Does that interest you? And I said, yeah, because I didn't know what that was. So she showed me what a health coach was, which went right along the line of being an instructor, a fitness instructor. And I found that to be very parallel to what I believe to be a more positive way of life for me. But she said, you need to, go on our program that we coach for. And I did, but she didn't know that at the time I was struggling to try to lose about 15 to 20 pounds. I work out every day. I work out very hard. And I thought that, hey, I can eat whatever I want, but that's not the case. I wish it were the case, but it's not the case. So, they often say that abs are made in the kitchen, and it's a 70-30 rule. 30% is your workout, 70% is what you eat. But I learned that through the program that we are learning in this challenge, all the different habits of health, which I really didn't know before. So I looked into what she said. I went on the program, lost over 25 pounds. Felt great, felt wonderful. I learned to eat 5 to 6 times a day, which to me was, who does that? I didn't understand that. I was skipping meals. I was saving meals for later on during the day, but I found that through this program that that's not the way to do it. So now I help others do the same. And let me tell you, it's way more better than practicing divorce law. For anybody out there who practices divorce law, I'll tell you, this is a lot more fun. So that's kind of my backstory. I've been on these challenges, almost every single one. They are so helpful in keeping that daily food for maintaining the habits of health, learning the ways to properly fuel your body, take good care of yourself, achieve optimal health, but even more than that, you're with a community of like-minded individuals. And so it's been an honor to be part of this program and this challenge. And so one of my favorite topics when I talk to clients is the power of choice, because this is one of the biggest lessons I learned on my journey was that really, truly, You have the power to choose, but you don't. You have the freedom to choose, but you don't necessarily have the freedom from the consequences of your choice. Um, and I learned on this program, and it was so funny when I was on the weight loss portion. I love wine, and I asked Dee, who is my health coach, I said, I can't have wine. She says, I'm not tell you can't have anything. You're a grown up. You can have whatever you want. It's all about choice. And when I really dug deep into that power of choice, that's where the magic lies. So, that's where this isn't just about dieting, because as you know, diets don't work. It's got to be a choice that's bigger than your day to day. Do I want the banana split? Do I not want the banana split? So I was looking back at some of the daily readings from the challenge, and day 5 on September 11th was a daily reading about what do you want to change. It's that yo-yo cycle. I'm sure I could probably guess that a large majority of the people on this call and in our group have been on diets before. And obviously diets don't work. So, it's like, why did you choose this challenge? What was it that for you personally got you to sign up, pay your money, do the daily activities, achieve your goal? What was that why? And it's individual for all of us. So, in order to make a change, you have to do something you haven't already done. I mean, that's just the way it is. So, but we look at something like, I want to lose weight for a wedding. I want to lose weight for my reunion. I want to lose weight before the holidays. So we look at something as solving a problem. And when you look at something as solving a problem, it has sort of a negative connotation to it. It has like, we want to do something negative. We want to solve something. It's a conflict. We want to resolve the conflict. And slowly, as we start to resolve the conflict, which is an emotional kind of aspect, when we want to resolve that conflict, as we get closer to resolving the conflict, the emotional side of it starts to sort of, get a little bit loose. It's like, okay, I've lost that 10 pounds, or I've started to eat a little bit better. I'm resolving that conflict of, I want to lose weight, I want to eat healthy, I want to exercise. And very often that's where the yo-yo comes. When you're trying to resolve a conflict, when your motivation is a conflict resolution, when you get closer to resolving it, when those emotions are taken out of the picture, then that motivation also starts to wane. It starts to relax. But when you look at something more of this as an outcome orientation, I would like to feel better. I want to be healthier. I don't want to be on medications. I want to be able to hike with my family and not huff and puff and have to sit down and rest every 10 minutes. That's more of a positive outcome. That's looking at a bigger picture. And so the fundamental choice is that it's that choice that defines who you are. Since you're on this challenge, I think it's safe to assume that you've all made the fundamental choice to be healthy. There is something that you want to achieve, whether it's live longer, be with your grandchildren, whatever it is, that's all individual. But that fundamental choice defines who our being is. It's very much like the fundamentals of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness that our forefathers had given us. These are inalienable rights, but they're fundamental. So the question for you is there anything in your life more important than your health? Probably not. I think if we talk to anybody that was close to on their deathbed, whether they made $1 billion, they had everything they ever wanted to have, I bet you they would say they'd give it all up for their health. So it's obvious that our health is a fundamental choice. So that leads us to our primary choices. What is your primary choice? It could be to lose weight and get to a healthy weight. And if that's it, then you have secondary choices, and those are our daily actions to achieve that primary choice. So for example, you're at a wedding, there's the wedding cake, and I don't know about you, but I judge a wedding by the cake. I love a wedding cake. So, but if your primary goal is to get to a healthy weight, and you're looking at this piece of wedding cake, then you ask yourself, does that further that primary goal? Probably not. It's a tool I learned in this program called Stop, Challenge, and Choose, which I think to me is probably the best tool I've ever learned in my life. And you take that moment and you stop what you're doing when you are faced with an unhealthy choice, whether it be the wedding cake, whether it be an emotional response to a stress out there, whether a job situation or whatever, and you have that habit of, gosh, I just want some M&Ms because those will make me feel better right now at this moment. If you take that moment and you stop and you take a look at this choice that you're about to face and you challenge yourself and say, why do I want to do this? Does it further my goal to be healthy? Does it further my goal to lose weight? Does it further my goal to get to a point where I can exercise without huffing or puffing or climb a flight of stairs without having to rest and stuff like that? That goal of those M&Ms or that wedding cake does not further that goal. So it says make that choice, but make it with mindfulness. Make it with something that, okay, and you may choose the wedding cake. You may say, you know what, I'm at my brother's wedding and I want to enjoy a piece of cake, great. But you've made that mindful choice of, it may not further my goal, but I'm making that mindful choice. And it's all about choices. And one of the great ways to get to reaching your goal, whatever your goal may be, and it's all different for all of us, is we use a tool called a structural tension chart, which I had never heard of before I got involved with our company. And at first I was like, I have no idea what this is. I don't know how to do it and everything like that. But it is a great tool for taking a look at where you're at in your current reality, writing down where you're at. And it could just be it could be weight related, it could be fitness related, it could be mentally related, or even financially where you want to be. And then putting at the bottom of the top is your current reality. At the top of the chart is where you want to be. But those action steps in between, those secondary choices in between, are what's going to lead you to getting where you need to get. And if you write it down, if you take a look at it and you write it down every single day, studies have shown that people who write their goals down are going to be way more successful in achieving them than if you just kind of leave it up in the air and kind of a lofty goal. But if you write it down and you look at it every day, you're going to achieve it. So when you write these goals down, there are, and I'm giving you a lot of stuff because I've had so much fun getting into this and rereading everything that I've already read before, but I'm very passionate about it because it works. But when you have a goal, Dr. A came up with this great acronym called Make It a SMART goal. And like many other things, acronyms work great for us because we remember things better using them. So if you look at your goal, you want it to be as specific and clear as possible. For example, I want to lose weight. Well, that's not very specific. How many pounds do you want to lose? I want to lose 20 pounds. Great. Okay, now you know. You want it to be measurable, easy to measure. For example, I want to have more energy. That's not a very easy goal to measure versus I want the ability to play 18 holes of golf without huffing and puffing, something like that. You want it to be achievable, meaning it's a reasonable goal so that when you look at it, you know that you can reach it, you can be excited about it, it's not impossible. But you also want it to be realistic. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. For example, if you say something like, I am never going to have wedding cake for the rest of my life. I don't know about you, but for me, that's not very realistic. There could come a time. But if you say, okay, I'm trying to lose these 20 pounds, so I'm not going to have that wedding cake right now. I'm going to wait until I reach goal. And then maybe if I want to have it, I will allow myself to have 3 bites. Because 95% of what you taste is in those first 3 bites. And the last is a time-oriented goal, because if we don't have an idea of how or when we want to reach that goal, then it's still up in the air. Now, of course, you can modify it and revise that time, but it gives you a measuring stick. So writing your goals down is so important. So we talked about those 3 goals. We talked about those choices, fundamental, primary, and secondary, and how each choice that you make every day will lead you closer to your goal. But very often we get caught in the chatter. I don't know about you, but do you ever talk to yourself and it's not always very nice? You know, you can't do this. I don't think you're going to make that goal. It's like these little things sitting on your shoulders just talking to you. It's like, shut up. You know, if we can quiet that talk in there and focus on your daily activities and your actions and your choices on the things that you want to bring about into your life, if we focus on that and we reward ourselves, at least in the sense of, yes, I did it today. I met those goals. I made the choices today that further my goals, then that empowers us that tomorrow we can do it again. So, you know, focusing on the things that you want to create rather than a negative outcome, like I want to lose weight or I want to whatever, but you want to create health, you want to, you know, achieve something that's positive, is going to make this journey so much easier for you. And it's just a basic shift of our mindset than it is to, I want to lose 20 pounds. You know, I want to, lose for my brother's wedding so I can have cake. But it's more than that. It's bigger than that. And so that's why I really love talking about the power of choice, because when you look at the bigger picture of your fundamental goal of being healthy and optimally healthy and free from medications and free from physical restraints of a negative lifestyle, when you look at how you have that power to do that, it's so much bigger than the wedding cake when you think about it. I have this wonderful client who lives out in Washington, and she's lost 105 pounds. And she's been on other diets before, and she's done all the other stuff. And she made that fundamental determination, that choice in February, that she can't live like this anymore. She had some medical scares, some high blood pressure, and some other stuff that kind of propelled her in a short-term way to start making healthier choices. But I asked her yesterday, I said, what's going to make you continue on this journey when you reach your goal? She's down 105 pounds. She's got 35 more to go. What's going to be for you that thing that sustains you once you get to that goal? And she says, I never want to be back there again. I want to be active. I want to go on vacations. I want to hike. I want to have energy. I love how I feel, and I never want to be back there again. And that's very inspirational when you think about it, because, you know, we've all gone on that yo-yo thing, and she's looking much bigger picture. So that's where I wanted to be on that power of choice. I don't know if anyone has any questions. I'm trying to stay within my time limit here. I have my little timer on, but as you can see, I'm very passionate about it, because once we realize it is all up here, it's so much easier to be able to meet those goals and face those short-term challenges for that bigger picture of being healthy.
That was so good, Susan. There were a lot of things you said that I think were of really great value. And I really love what you were pointing out with your client with that 100, she lost over 100 pounds already, and the what's going to keep you going question. Because very often we, in my experience over 4 years of coaching with clients, is very often we think we've arrived, like, oh, good, I'm there. But we all know in order to sustain, in order to maintain success, we have to keep doing the things that brought us success. And that applies to everything in our lives. And so, often what I'll, work with a client on is setting some new goals. Okay, what are we going for now? Maybe it's, that they want to walk or run or 5K or something health related that's going to keep them in the, keep in the game. So I love that you were already setting that and framing that up for her to think big. And so so I know we talked about the power of choice, and, it always is a choice. So we're at the wedding, right? And we're weighing that decision. Do I want the birthday cake or whatever? And so we make the decision. Let's say we're trying to lose weight. We make the decision to have birthday cake. What's the most important thing that a person should do next after making that decision?
Well, I think if they make that decision, like I said earlier, have 3 bites and put the cake away. That's the first thing, because you do have that power over that cake. But if you decide to have that piece of cake, don't let it throw you away from your goals. Realize that it is what it is. It's its own little moment, but it doesn't define you, and it doesn't make for the rest of your journey, you know? So you get back on the train track, so to speak, and you refocus on what your goals are, realizing that, yes, that may not have furthered your primary goal, your fundamental goal of being optimally healthy, and your primary goal of losing weight. So we get back on it. But a lot of times people will go, I'm going to throw in the towel, but you don't need to throw in the towel. You still, every single day, get up in the morning and make that decision. I'm going to be healthy today. It's a new day. That's kind of what I counsel clients and myself, because we all make that, we all make those decisions. Oh, that was very cute, Vicki.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think that's so important. I mean, it's just to recognize it's just a choice. It's a decision, never to beat ourselves up if we make a choice that's not in line with our goals. And healthy people eat unhealthy things. It's what they do next. They don't use it as a reason to toss out and go haywire all weekend and start again on Monday. It's just, you get right back on track, what you do 3 hours later. So that is great. So let's open it up. We've got just a couple of minutes. Does anybody have anything to share? Maybe you have an example of a choice like this where you recently made it and you're proud of it. Or maybe you're struggling and could use a little advice at this point. And you can unmute yourself. You can *6 the phone, or just click on the screen if you're on.
Hi, this is Marcy.
Hey, Marcy.
Are you there? Okay. I'm so excited to be back in town. One of the things that really hit me tonight, Susan, was using your head. And a couple weeks ago, I listened to another one who said, think about your choices as either above or below your neck. And if you think about where this choice is going to be, if it's in above your neck and it's in your mind, or if it's below your neck and in your stomach, and how to deal with that. So it was really nice to be able to think in those terms and try and key in on those choices, because they're very, very hard to make.
So you're referring to, like, if it's a choice because you're stressed out or you're emotional about something and it's in your head, like, okay, if I eat this, it will make me feel better.
Right. Bring that mindfulness back in, and the reason, and just don't react, because if it's really hunger, you need to take care of it, because then you haven't had your meals to begin with, and then react accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that. And that's right in line with Susan's point, right? About stop, challenge, and choose.
Yes.
To make that hesitation, rather than reaching for the M&Ms, like, stop, like, what the heck is going on? Like, why am I feeling this moment? And we've all been there, right? So it's just that acknowledging it. And if you're angry, acknowledge it. I'm angry. If I'm emotional, because a lot of times we try to bury that, and we try to, use something to soothe that pain or that issue at that time. So yeah, great point. Who else? Anybody else have anything to share? Well, I think Susan, was there somebody have anything to say? I think Susan did an incredible job. I love the wisdom and insight of others on our team. I hope you guys find it helpful. Sometimes we can even hear the same thing, but somebody phrases it differently, and it just resonates with us for whatever reason. So
I've got my list of things to read in the morning, my goal now already set up, which I hadn't really figured out before, what it is I really want. And I will look at it every day and keep that mindful and make my choices on it. Thank you, Susan.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate every single one of you guys taking time out of your busy schedule to be here. It reflects your commitment to your health. You get 25 points for being on live, so we appreciate that. And join us again next week. You guys have a great week, and if you need anything, just reach out. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Have a great night.